Hey, welcome everybody to the Ring As live stream, October the 14th. Happy to be here. I'm only a minute late. Normally I start like right at the 12 mark, but I was trying to get the Zoom settings here right, and I'm missing something. Oh, I know what I'm missing. The share option, just in case anybody needs to share their screen. Okay, cool. So let me look at the camera. There we are. Hey, all right. And we got a lot to cover today, actually. There's some things that I've talked about already in the mentorship that I'll be covering today. Mainly some Google Ads platform updates. Actually, one that even came through today. And it's funny to me, I'm laughing because I remember telling the folks over in the mentorship that don't count out October. I mean, they make updates every so often, don't get me wrong, but they usually do major moves um, right before peak season. And it seems like they're a little bit like not behind the eight ball, but a little bit dragging this year on getting out some of the major updates, and maybe they did that on purpose, which is why I said it just didn't feel like there were a couple of main updates. Don't get me wrong, that impact us and for the better, of course, because we that's how we roll. But there were some that it just didn't feel like that was everything, if that makes sense. And the one they dropped today, that's it, right? And I'm sure there's more updates coming before the end of the year, no doubt. But in terms of like major updates for the summer into the fall, I guess the cold air blowing through Vegas here recently. I don't how cold did it get? It got down into the 60s, and at nighttime it's getting down into the high 40s. So, which doesn't sound very cold for some of you. I know some of you are going through blizzards right now, but for Vegas, that's cold. That's a definite 25 plus temperature drop. In case you're wondering why I haven't shaved, I actually have a friggin' had a acne pop up for some reason, a little pimple, and it was a real son of a bitch because it's on the edge of my cheekbone, right under my eye, and it really hurts. So not as bad anymore, but obviously there it is, and I didn't want to shave and have to deal with all that. So anyway, not that you care about my personal problems with that. But man, it's been an interesting couple of weeks. A lot of cool discoveries and things that I'm going to be able to share with you guys outside of the Google Ads updates as well. Exciting stuff. Man, I'll talk to you guys about that after we do the Google Ads updates because I know a lot of you guys don't have a ton of time and tune in for the juicy, right? And some of this stuff, well, the Google Ads updates are definitely the juicy, the meat here, the steak. But there's some interesting trends and directions that are still very important for you to know, but you don't have to necessarily know them today. So I'll cover those at the end. That way we uh, have our time right together. All right. Oh, by the way, if you're tuning in from the Ring Ads main Facebook group, great, you're in the right place. If you're tuning in on YouTube or Twitter or LinkedIn or Instagram or any of the many other places that I stream this bad boy to, first off, welcome. Let me look at the camera. There we go. Welcome. Second, you probably want to join the group. It's free to join. The main group is. I've had a lot of people knocking down the door of the mentorship. Some legit, some not. And the main group is the free one, right? The main group is the free one, not the mentorship. Anyway, that's free to join. And inside there, I have it set up actually so I can see most everybody's comments anyway. So if you're tuning in from YouTube or something, you don't have to go over there right this second or anything, but it would be a good idea because I'm able to see your comments a lot easier, a lot faster. So let me see if I can. Let me see if I can have an idea because deal with this here real comments. Quick. There we go. Okay. Now I can see my screen. I'm going to copy paste the Zoom link in here to share in a minute. But first, we got to talk about the Google Ads updates, right? So let me get those ready here just really quickly. And for those of you that don't know, and screen, for those of you that don't know, you can find this. If you do a quick Google search, you can go to Google Ads announcements, and it'll be one of the first results that pops up on your on the search engine, on the Google search engine. Okay. All right. So like I said, they've got updates from as recent as today, right? But we're going to work backwards from the last time I covered some ad updates for you folks here in the main group. And that starts us all the way back here to the end of July, basically, is where we were at. We were talking about those. They were noticing in their searches or in our searching patterns that people were really gearing up for back to school, and there was going to be a big push on that, right? So that's great for ecom. It's not really applicable to us, uh, but there's some new updates. So let's talk about these. Attribution models now support YouTube and display ads. So if we take a look at that, what that means is this is August 9th. What that means is now you're able to better track through the entire purchasing process, let's say, or in our case, driving phone calls for a local client, still part of the purchasing process, right? You're able to now better track or attribute which ad or ads uh, should be attributed with the conversion, right? Which one should get the credit? In other words, which one did their homework, right? Instead of a teacher having a blindfold, it's kind of like now the teacher has no blindfold on and asks the question, who's responsible for this? And he or she is able to see the student raise their hand that's responsible for the awesomeness, right? And that's what this is, right? That's all that is. The difference is what I want you to pay attention to. The trend is this: it's for YouTube and display ads. So the attribution models now support YouTube and display ads, which tells us what? What does this tell us direction wise? This is what you guys pay me the big bucks for, right? This is why you guys tune in on the edge of your seat. I'm teasing, but I'm also not. Why? Because nobody else talks about this kind of shit, and they really should, because this is a telegraphed punch, if you will, uh, to not that we're fighting Google or anything. We're working with them, but to everybody else, it's going to be a real big punch in the face, real big slap in the face if you do not take heed to what Google is actually telling us here. Google Ads. What are they telling us? They're telling us that there's a trend and a focus on making the most out of the YouTube and display ads. Now, why would they do that? Because there's big money there. Not that they didn't already know that, but this is something that they've wanted to roll out. You can tell because they rolled it out for the summer, in the summer for the peak season of shopping, which is pretty much now, right? In case you guys didn't know. Okay, pretty cool though that they telegraph moves like that to us, right? It's super important. Okay. Google Ads editor updates on August 9th as well. So this is pretty cool. We don't even have to click in on this one. Support for hotel ads, YouTube audio ads, and more. Basically, what they're helping people do is people that run a ton of ads or need to run and/or manage, create and/or manage campaigns can do so in the AdWords editor. Excuse me, Google Ads editor now. I'm so old school. Google Ads editor, and you're able to manage a lot more different types of ads, which is cool. And again, you can see the focus is going to be for them. A lot of it's on ecom, yes, but then you've also got YouTube focused, right? So there's another hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge from Google Ads, right? Better control over smart bidding. This is August 19th with conversion value rules. This is something that we definitely want to talk about. So I am not going to answer how satisfied I am with Google Ad support right now. I'm in the middle of a live stream. Thank you very much. All right. Better control over smart bidding with conversion values. So this is pretty cool because you're actually able to um, differentiate the type of, for example, phone call that comes in. So a lot of you always ask about, oh, how do I? We set up two different campaigns. Like if you've got HVAC, for example, you got a repair call, which is worth a little bit less, even though a lot of repair calls lead to installs. Then you've got installs, right? That's the HVAC industry for you, and a lot of other industries are like this as well. The ones that I teach you to drive phone calls to, right? So here's the thing though, now you can start differentiating on your conversions the value of those calls. Hey, these calls coming in from this campaign are conversion wise worth more than this conversion over here, but still put it under the same, like, hey, that was a phone call for HVAC, it was good, mark it as conversion. The difference is you're actually able to multiply the value, right? Which is pretty slick, right? At least to me, it is anyway. It shows me that Google Ads is now not that they didn't understand any of this or anything. I'm not trying to make anybody feel dumb at all over there. They're great. It's just they just now rolling it out though, right? This is something that we've been doing, right? Through the call tracking platform. We've been doing this for years, actually. But now you're actually going to be able to do it on your call tracking platform and now inside Google Ads whenever you run Google Ads anyway, right? All right, pretty cool stuff there. Uh, we're not worried about the smart bidding part yet, right? Uh, we're still letting them figure that shit out, right? It's not that I don't trust it or anything. It's just that they've even said in a lot of their notes as recent as this year that they're uh, they're still improving on that, and I'll show you what that looks like here. All right, so August 31st, stand out this holiday season with your shipping and return options. That's more ecom, not really our thing, but this is kind of cool because they are again. Notice how this is a hint, hint, wink, wink for ecom, right? So ecom, YouTube, display, ecom, YouTube, display, uh, ecom, YouTube, display. Is everybody getting it? Kind of right. I feel like Ben Stein up there on Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Bueller, Bueller, right? It's it. That's this is it right here, folks. This is what they're making it easy on us if you just pay attention, right? Or if you tune into these calls regularly enough, then you're gonna get the info here, right? Kind of cool. So you don't necessarily have to tune into this to Google Ads announcements. Um, and even if you do, maybe you don't understand some of the announcements or some of the improvements, that's fine. Ask questions. I cover these every so often anyway, but that's because I personally make it a point to take a look and see what direction Google Ads is going because I got a lot of people that depend on me to be able to tell them what's coming so that you guys can act accordingly, right? And make good moves while everybody else is freaking out. Making it easier, for example, to show the right message on a search. So here's a fact that they keep quoting over these next few updates. 15% of search queries every day right now are new searches that Google has never seen before. That right here, plain as day. 15% of search queries Google has never seen before every day. 15%. That's insane. Number one, it's because there's a lot of new search volume, right? And because there's been a lot of, let's say, development changes, shifts in markets, right? People closing, but also people opening. So things move, right? New technology comes out, et cetera. So new searches make sense, right? A lot of movement, and that's what they're saying. Hey, we've noticed this, but now we're going to make it easier to show the right message on search. What do they mean by that? Well, no, thank you right now, Google. Okay. What do they mean by that? Well, they're trying to enhance the automation is what they're trying to do. Okay. Um, like with responsive search ads, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But here's something you need to take note of. The responsive search ads will be the only search ad type for standard search campaigns, not call campaigns, right? Not call ads. Um, Call only ads has come a long, long way. It's now called call ads, right? That's the name of it. Um, but it's not still, it's in the search family of campaigns. It's not a standard search campaign. But this is important to take note of, super important, because by middle of next year, okay, June 30th next year, when you're running a standard search campaign, which you can do to drive phone calls, you need to understand it's going to be responsive only from that point on, okay? Because they're trying to tackle this challenge here, right? Getting you in front of the searches that you may not even have thought of because they're not even thinking of them because they haven't seen them yet. Meaning Google Ads, right? Like that's it's a pretty good solution. The thing is, will it expand into call ads? Don't know. And I'll tell you, if they see the same trend inside of call ads, yeah, it will carry over. So something to take note of. This might be, first of the year, middle of next year. They might make an announcement, right? I'm not Nostradamus, and definitely don't have a crystal ball, but all signs point to this is the trend. This is the way they're heading. It's probably going to hit call ads. When? Fuck, I don't know. Let's let Google Ads figure that out and then tell us, and we just stay on top of it. How about that? Everybody else freaks out, but everybody here on this call, no problem, because you're on the up and up. You stay up to date, right? All right. Which is actually a pretty cool function. It's going to get us better conversions anyway, right? We're gonna be able to show the right message to the right people looking for the right things. So I'm not too worried about that at all. Excuse me. Okay. Next, improving the search terms report while maintaining user privacy. Okay, so and this is September 9th. So you guys remember when everybody was freaking out about no thank you Google. Does everybody remember when people were freaking out about all the search terms being removed from the search terms report? Holy shit! Right? Hey, it's good to see everybody. I see you in the comments there. Love you. Um, Everybody remember that when everybody's freaking out? Oh my God, they took away all the search terms, and they didn't take them all away. It was about 20 to 30% still left. Well, Google Ads, I guess, got an earful about it, and they said, we actually um, have gotten better with our privacy, and really what we did, I'm looking for the word to describe it here. We uh, we how do I describe this? I had this the other time, the other day I talked about this. It's vetted. There we go. They vetted the keywords that wouldn't affect privacy, right? Or that they filtered outside of their privacy. In other words, they're adding back in more search terms. Okay. Plus, I know they got an earful from a rash of shit from a lot of people because they were freaking out. And while it didn't bother us that much because I teach you guys how to run the campaigns to where, yeah, it's helpful, but it's not the end all be all for us, right? So the fact that they're coming back and improving this it's I won't say it's negligible. It will help, um, but the cool thing is that it's still not 100% what it used to be. So you're still gonna have people flopping around out there if they're not tuning into this, or if they don't know about these, how to deal with the updates properly, and run good campaigns, then they're going to have issues and you're not, and your shit's going to continue to get better because of this, and they're probably still going to be flopping around a lot. Just saying. So this is pretty cool. Search terms report gets a little bit better for everybody again, but it wasn't even close to a deal breaker for us. While everybody else were like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to run campaigns anymore, right? So anyway, all right, matching the most relevant keyword to every search. This is pretty cool. So I pulled this up because it's also very important. Uh, you see here again the 15% number. 15% of the queries daily are ones we have never seen before, which is a ton. I mean, in the pandemic, pre-pandemic, it was, and nobody knows the exact numbers on this, but just bear with me for a second. Pre-pandemic, Google searches per day uh, was, if I'm not mistaken, was maybe a few billion, like maybe 2 to 3, maybe 4 estimated billion searches per day. I could be wrong on that number, but it's in that ballpark. During the pandemic, that number has at least doubled. I'm almost certain that it's at least doubled. And here's the thing. If we're talking, even if it hasn't, even if it only increased by 20%, which I think is ridiculous because everybody was home, right? And a lot of people still are. The searching uh, has definitely gone up because 15% alone is brand new. They've never seen it before. Now, why is this important? Well, because they are making note of this twice in updates. So if they're talking about it multiple times in multiple places, we need to be paying attention to it, right? The more they talk about something, the more we need to pay attention to that something. Otherwise, that's how you get run the hell over, like with the search terms, uh, search terms debacle, the great search terms debacle of 2019, right? Freaking everybody out. Anyway, so matching the most relevant keyword to every search. Now, here's what they're doing for that. They're making significant improvements to the AI, is basically what they're saying. Predictability and how the keywords are going to match. So when a search is identical to one of your keywords, right? So, and they give an example here, which I love, and how keywords are selected. But the idea is this: if someone searches for sushi delivery near me and you have the broad match keyword sushi delivery and sushi delivery near me, before this update, both of those keywords would have been eligible to serve. Now, the keyword sushi delivery near me is preferred. So this is now preferred, okay, because it's identical to the search term, right? Which makes sense. They kind of not course corrected, but a little bit of a shift, right, and course correction in the more relevant it is, right? This is why I talk to you all the time and have for many years now about getting the right combinations and trying all the different possible combinations of keywords that make the most sense of what people are actually going to be typing in, not generic, right? This is way too broad, right? Sushi delivery, and we've gone through keyword discovery exercises many, many times, and I would never say this is a targeted keyword. It's a meh keyword, right? It's not extremely broad uh, like sushi, but it's still only one level down from or up from that, right? Whereas sushi delivery near me is pretty on point, right? There's a big difference. Okay. So anyway, this is pretty cool because they're making a serious concerted effort to match those relevant keywords. Okay. And we want that. That's something we want. Better measurement for video ads on display. This is pretty cool because they're looking to. They've made a couple of other video changes. I'll cover actually both of these together because they came out the same day on September 27th. Upgrading from TrueView for action to video action campaigns. So they're doing this because they. Let's see. Did I upgrade? Prepare to. Yeah, this is it. Prepare to upgrade for TrueView, better measurement. We got a couple others left to take a look at here, but we'll get there. Don't worry. So prepare to upgrade from TrueView for action to video action campaigns. The reason they're putting that kind of focus is because they've seen video action campaigns drive 20% more conversions per dollar. Holy shit, right? That means they're saying TrueView is not dead or anything, but it's I mean 20% more. It's almost kind of like why even have it? And that's exactly what they're thinking, right? So no big deal there. September 30th, has already come and gone, is the last day to create new TrueView for action anyway. So if you're running any YouTube ads for anything, calls or products or e-com, doesn't matter. You're going to be running video action campaigns, and you're going to get paid more for your results anyway. So nothing wrong with that there. But they also have better measurement for video ads on display. Okay, remember how we talked about earlier? One of the updates was attribution for YouTube ads and display. Both are enhanced, if you will, and added and enhanced. Why? Because they want to not only help you track your conversions coming from those types of ads, but now they understand, okay, video ads and display, they really want to um, help you track that, right? And they've developed even a new metric, if you will, which is EVCs, engaged view conversions. And listen to this. This is counted, right? The metric counts when a user watches 10 seconds of a video in your ad and doesn't interact, but later completes a conversion on your site. Meaning they watched your ad, they got the branding awareness value, if you will, out of the ad. And then because they converted later on the site and you were tracking it, they track it as a metric of engaged view conversion because they were engaged with your brand, even though initially or in the past it didn't look like it, right? Now, because of attribution on YouTube ads and on display, you can see people convert all the way through and where they really came from, which is really cool. I mean, you might think you're spending too much on this one particular ad, but it might be the one turning out to drive actually all the conversions you have. So you don't want to turn it off because you think it's more expensive. You want to turn off because you know you're not getting any conversions from it. That's the difference, right? Damn the expense. If you're making money, right, that on the ad profitability wise, you don't want to turn that off. This helps you figure out that, connect those dots, figure that part out, right? All right. Prepare to upgrade for TrueView. We already talked about that. Oh, let me not skip ahead. Okay, so making it easier for you to invest in your offline customer data, find higher quality leads. This is more of like a someone who does a lot of offline business, which a lot of your local clients will do, right? Taking a drink there. And the thing is about this, like, it's more about attribution. There's a huge focus, if you haven't noticed, on updates for lately for making sure that you can get the biggest bang for your buck on your ads. What are the ads that are producing, right? All right. Anyway, not really relevant to us directly. Okay. Let's see. Unlock performance insights with enhanced conversions. Okay, so enhanced conversions. Let's see. That's where we're at. Okay. So Uh, with enhanced conversions, the interesting thing is this. Where's the friggin' wasn't the quote? Oh, here it is. Okay, so here's the bottom line. An improved ROAS, right, which is return on ad spend, for those of you that don't know, uh, has gone from 8.6% to 31% search in YouTube. Okay, and this is just a case study, but if it's happening for ecom, guarantee it's happening across the board almost always. Not that ecom drives all of Google Ads decisions or anything, but if you haven't noticed, there's a heavy focus on ecom because there's a lot of buyer intent and sales and data in general that's driven from ecom alone. Okay, but you're able to actually tag um, so that you get better insights on your performance with when using enhanced conversions. Okay, and this is not something that is for call ads or anything, right? I know I talk a lot about call ads, but the idea is if you're going to run things like ads on YouTube, for example, you're probably going to want to start tapping into some of these more advanced updates, right? Not all today or anything, but this is something you definitely want to take a look at because you will see an increase in your spend, or excuse me, not your spend, your return on spend, right? And that's always good. That's always a good thing. All right, let's see what else is easily understand campaign spend with new budget reports. Yeah, this is actually kind of cool. So new budget reports, this gives us a real good bird's eye view of how much we're going to be spending for the month. A lot of people were in the dark with this because they didn't just calculate. Remember a while back, I say a while back, maybe a few years ago now, they told us that they might spend up to twice the daily average depending on when the campaign starts. Like if it starts today, a campaign, and you set a budget of $100 a day, they can spend up to $200 a day because there's 31 days in October. They base it off a 30-day month, by the way. So really call it a 30-day month. 100 times 30, that's 3,000. And if you only have 15 days left in the month with that campaign at $100 a day, you're only going to get to 1,500, not 3,000. So they reserve the right, they say, and have said, to spend up to double, and especially on the days and times when you're likely to get more clicks and conversions, right? And this is the same across the board, all Google Ads, okay? But now you can see what that looks like. You can also see where your daily spend is going, and what to do, right? It gives you a good bird's eye view now, which is not something that we've had as detailed as this in the past, which is nice. Okay, so that's always helpful to know your numbers and take a look at a glance. Make sure you didn't make any mistakes there. Okay, the two new ones here. These are two that we didn't even talk about in the mentorship because they just came up. Okay, and one of them just came up today. So let's talk about these two today, or now, I should say. Updating our ads and monetization policies on climate change. Well, this is one of those weird ones where you've got it's pretty political. uh, I'm not going to dig into anybody for their beliefs or anything. I really could care less, actually. Just from a business perspective, I could care less. I'm sure I do have a personal opinion on it, and I really don't care if you believe what I believe or don't. And I really don't care what anyone believes about those things, especially when it comes to politics. Really don't care. Uh, but it is interesting for us and to see this and to take note of it. Meaning, if this is a platform we're going to use and work with, we need to, whether we agree with their policies or not, whether you agree with the policies or not, we have to abide by them, right? Or and not necessarily support them and say, yay, but definitely don't speak out against, I would say. And so whether you believe in climate change or not, whether you it doesn't matter, right? Like this is what they're doing. So they have a new monetization policy for Google advertisers. It's going to prohibit ads and monetization of content that contradicts well established, according to them, okay, keep that in mind, well established scientific consensus around the existence and cause of climate change, right? So here's what this means. I mean, and I'm not trying to get political at all. I just want you to understand this point. If Google, for some reason, has a scientific consensus that the Earth is flat. Okay, and I know I'm being a little bit facetious, but just to exaggerate the point. Okay, so if that's what Google says, that hey, anything that you run ads wise, if it contradicts the fact that we think based on a scientific consensus that the Earth is flat, and you have an ad that says the Earth is round, they're gonna slap your ass. Okay, they're going to slap you right in the face, right? With bans, disapprovals. You probably even get flagged, right? I'm not saying it to be a smartass. I'm just telling you straight out. Like, so when it comes to climate change, if you are running an ad, even if it's in jest or making fun of or worried about climate change, use a HVAC energy efficient HVAC unit, right? Like, be careful, right? I'm not saying walk on eggshells, but be mindful, I guess is the best way to say it. Be mindful of what you're saying, even if it's as a joke. Because look, this includes content referring to climate change as a hoax or a scam, claims denying that long-term trends show the global climate is warming, and claims denying that greenhouse gas emissions or human activity contribute to climate change. So again, because it's their ad platform, right? It's their playground. We have to honor that. Okay, whether you believe in it or not. Okay, I know some of you may not, and that's fine. Some of you may not give a shit. Some of you may be very adamant about climate change, and I'll tell you, this agenda of climate change, real or not, doesn't matter, has been pushed like no other. Man, it's being pushed hard. Whew, I mean pushed hard, and usually that means there's some where there's smoke there's fire usually, not always, but man, they're pushing the shit out of this thing. And now it's part of the ads policy, so it is important to understand. While I'm not a very politically motivated person, I'm not an activist or anything, I don't vote because fuck the system. The system is broken. That's me personally, right? Me telling you that. uh, when it comes to business and the ad platform and doing business with these guys, you got it. Nothing that contradicts climate change is real. Okay, fair enough. Uh, I may nickname you Al Gore, but I'm not gonna, but I'm not gonna like fly in the face of your policies because it's your platform. You got it. No problem. And nor will I teach other people to violate that policy. I'm going to teach people to adhere to the policy, like I'm doing right now, whether I believe in your thing or not, right? But again, I may joke around and call you Al Gore just because. Who likes that guy? Nobody. Not even Hillary. Okay, so uh, the most recent update, the latest change to mobile search results. So this is actually pretty cool. I'm not actually going to click on this, but well, actually, I could. I guess I could do that. Um, I do have it loaded. This is what's really cool. They're making it so that when you're on a mobile phone, you don't have to click and load a second page like you would on desktop. You know how they have the numbers down at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the second, third, fourth, fifth page, etc. Now you just keep scrolling. So it's like a more seamless, let's call it, experience where the next set of results loads. Um, and it lets you, like they said, it lets you continuously scroll for longer before needing to tap the see more button, making it easier for you to find the information you're looking for. It's rolling out over the next 2 weeks starting today, which means basically by the end of the month it'll be fully rolled out, right? And it's like, this is a good question. Is there, and so they anticipated questions, which is kind of funny. Is there any change to where my ads can show on the search results page? And so this is obviously recalculations for ad rank, right? Some of you might know how I talk about ad rank and how it's a lower priority for us because starting out, especially because with good ad copy and lower cost per click and more targeted search, or let's say ad impressions to searchers. Let's say it that way. You're going to get better ad rank. It just comes with the territory, right? But they're saying that their system's going to recalculate for that. Okay, and text ads can show at the top of the second page and beyond, while fewer text ads will show at the bottom of each page. There's no change to how shopping and local ads will show. Okay, so that's good. That's good for us. Can my ads show more than once for the same query? Yes, right? Yes, and that's it's always been that way, but at the same time, now it's more seamless of a process for mobile users, right? And mobile users by far are the majority, and it's definitely up our alley because that's the industry we're in, right? More or less. A lot of mobile users. Okay, that's it, folks, for the Google Ads announcements and updates. Uh, let's uh, let's see here. I know I need to grab a link here. Come back to my camera. There I am. Hello. And I'm going to grab the Zoom link. I'm going to paste this into the chat inside the Facebook group. So if you would like to come into the Zoom and ask any questions, if you have campaigns to review, questions on anything, could be client acquisition, campaigns, agency setup, scaling, optimization of campaigns, creation of campaigns, you name it, whatever you got. If you need help with something, uh, let me know. And in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab uh, the Google Ads announcements dealio link, if you will, copy link address. All right, and I'm going to paste that in to the chat as well. So that way, like if you need to see everything I was just talking about and did a run through for, now you've got that page, you can bookmark it. It would be a good idea to bookmark it. I like to check it once a quarter at least. Sometimes more often, especially during the summertime, I'll check it every few weeks because I want to see what kind of changes are being made. And I know a lot of changes, major changes come through over the summer prior to peak season. And I say a lot, I mean the majority of changes come through right in the middle of summer because everybody's on vacation, there's less ad spend. They can make the transition easier for when people come back to learn something new or to adjust, and they also get the full weight and impact of how it affects the peak season of advertising, right? For e-com and a lot of stuff, right? All right. Um, so those two links are there. If you got questions, now's the time. Speak now or hold your peace until October 28th. I'm gonna get rid of some of these tabs just cause it's a ton of tabs to have open. There we go. And does anybody have any questions? Let me look through the. Adrian says, "I feel the Christmas breeze." Yeah, man. It got. I swear to you, it was several days ago now, but a storm rolled through, and the winds that brought that storm just kept going. The winds did. Oh my God, it was windy enough to not lift me off my feet, but push me up. Like push me. Like if I had been caught myself with my feet, I'd have fell over. Like that's how hard the wind was blowing. It was nuts, and it just stayed cold. I mean, we might get a spurt, but it's middle of October. Usually, mid to late October is when it goes into cooling off time, right? So from now on, it's going to be uh, see your breath weather definitely by the end of October. So it's getting cooler and cooler. I had to wear a jacket the last couple of days going out, taking the dog out for a walk, right? But it's nice weather. It does affect my sinuses some, but only because it's like major pressure changes. That's usually what does it. It's the differentiation of temperature between day and night that's like 25 plus degrees usually jacks my sinuses up twice a year, spring and fall. I think I'm through most of that. I did have a horrible headache yesterday, though. My God, that was bad. I did anything and everything I could, and still just would not go away. That was crazy. Today I'm feeling pretty all right, but my sinuses, you can probably kind of hear me a little bit, little stopped up there. Not horrible, but not that anybody cares about that. But yes, cold is here. Why does that matter? Well, Vegas is different. Right now, it's blizzards in places, right? We don't really get that kind of weather here. We get snow up on the mountainside here, but not like South Dakota, you know what I mean? Like or the Midwest even. Hell, sometimes even the South, not as much, but still, when it hits hard. Like Texas last year, right? Ooh, man, that hit hard, and we don't really get that here. So for us, and why does that matter? Well, if you're targeting Texas versus targeting the desert, Phoenix, Vegas, anywhere in New Mexico, Albuquerque, ABQ, you're looking at like um, you're looking at a different range of temperatures and also a different set of problems to deal with, um, just how it goes, right? Depends on the industry that you're targeting and what you're in. All right, let's see. Any questions? No questions? Okay. I know I said I was going to talk to you about what was it? I said I was going to talk to you about the trends. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. So, have you guys noticed that? And so, if there's no questions, we'll do a last call here in a little bit. That's fine. But I did want to talk to you guys about the trends. This is not something you have to know today, but definitely something you're going to want to pay attention to, right? Because like the Google announcements, it's definitely trends, and it's not just Google Ads. It's trend sets that I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about Facebook today too. So I on September 29th, there was a press release done from Facebook Business, and they're talking about this $1 billion program they're running for well, you guys probably, if you do or don't, I'll tell you right now. YouTube ran a $100 million payments out to creators program. I think they're still running it for people that create YouTube Shorts specifically. There's like $100 million program for that, or there is $100 million program for that. So Facebook, which is a great program by the way, I think it's capped at like 10,000 monthly for the creators, and it's all based on how well your YouTube Shorts do. In terms of views and popularity, right? So if you have a couple that go viral, you're going to get a good payday. But I think 10K per person's the cap. There's some qualifying things that you have to meet, but you don't have to be a YouTube partner in order to participate in that. It's totally separate from the YouTube partner program, which is also interesting. They may merge those at when they're done with this whole deal, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, they may keep them separate forever. I have no idea. But YouTube Shorts is a way for YouTube to combat, I say combat, to retain more users and keep up with the times, so to speak, from people that are used to TikTok, the younger generation, right? Or I should say younger generations. And I know that there are older people on TikTok, okay? And when I say older, I'm talking, 30s up, right? I am fully aware of that fact. It is not the majority audience wise, right? So my point, not yet anyway, and probably won't be for a while. Uh, and when that happens, guess what? A new platform will come out, and all the new young kids and new generation of young kids will go to the next platform. Basically, it seems to be how that's kind of working for social media. And the idea is YouTube, in order to stay more relevant, not that they became irrelevant by any means, but in order to engage their audience more watch time, give them the kind of content they want, they introduced something called YouTube Shorts, which is a section of videos that plays a lot like TikTok, one after the other. It's not TikTok based. It's just it definitely has that kind of feel to it, right? Where the videos play one after another, and they're less than 60 seconds, right? YouTube Shorts are less than 60 seconds. They have to be, and that's something that YouTube has done to again stay relevant on that point and with that market. Facebook has done well. Actually, Instagram, which Facebook, Instagram, kind of the same thing, but not same company, if you will. Instagram has done something similar to that with, if you'll remember, Instagram Reels, right? Um, and so the trend is Reels is very similar to, again, the YouTube, or not the YouTube, well, the YouTube Shorts function, yes, but also TikTok, right? And Snapchat, right? Those kinds of functions on the mobile app. And that's Instagram's way of capturing that market. Well, September 29th, Facebook dropped Facebook Reels. And if you do a reel, if you share if you create a reel on Instagram, in some cases, I believe they're going to roll this out as a fully, I think it maybe just be beta right now for a few people, if I remember the article correctly, but they're rolling it out so that I'm pretty sure that everybody's going to have the option at some point soon, if you create a reel on Instagram and it's public, that you'll be able to share it on Facebook and get recommended views on Facebook Reels. So Facebook Reels is basically an extension of recommendations of Instagram Reels, right? Which means an increase in audience, by the way, right? So if you're doing anything with Instagram, doing anything with YouTube Shorts, definitely pay attention to those trends. The well-established social media platforms are, I won't say going after those platforms, because you're never going to kill TikTok. I think if anything, TikTok would kill itself, um, or just die out from lack of interest at a certain point. Um, but that's all, in theory on paper, right? Has The point is they're going after the market share. YouTube's going after their piece of the pie for that and keeping more watch time on their site or their setup, their network. And Facebook's doing the same thing, right, with Facebook Reels. Now, the other thing is Facebook's got like in that same announcement, they've got that $1 billion creation or creator program that they're paying out $1 billion in total to, not just for people that do Reels, but people that they've actually launched something called Bulletin. And it's not open to everybody yet. Again, they have like some beta users, and they went with some big names first, right, as that typically happens. But Bulletin is on its own website. I believe it's bulletin.com even. And Facebook set that up so that people are going to be able to run free and or paid groups. In other words, free and or paid subscriptions to Facebook groups for people that write articles or just write in general. And we're talking sports writers, think journalists, etc. Um, even on a local level or a localized level, or people that have a following. That's what that's for. And again, it's in beta, but it's rolling out. And part of that $1 billion fund is going to be going to things like Bulletin. The other thing is another trend is a lot of people are familiar with Clubhouse, right? You've probably heard about Clubhouse. It's an audio, if you will, an audio form of social media, more or less, right? And it's a great place to hang out. Here's the thing, though. Now Facebook has audio rooms. Yeah, they're rolling that shit out. And again, it's to take back some of that market share that maybe they're missing. And I got to tell you, nothing, no jabs at Facebook or anything, but they've really damaged a lot of their reputation and trust with people. I get that, but for them to roll out these kinds of programs, all centered around, by the way, Facebook Pay, FB Pay, right? So Facebook Pay, uh, they're looking to get more cards on file, right? So if they're doing that, then they definitely have a plan in the works to increase not just the mm, I don't want to say interactions, but engagement with their platform, right? And to create a more positive experience to do more cool shit like Reels, audio rooms, which takes, it doesn't take over Clubhouse, but basically it makes it so that if you're going to do something in Clubhouse at a certain point, you're probably going to want to have Clubhouse and Facebook audio room linked together, much like what I do with restreaming. So I use restream.io, and I restream to YouTube, Facebook, all that kind of stuff, because all of the social media platforms that I use or want to use have a live stream element to it, right? Makes sense. Well, uh, Restream is a technology that allows me to utilize all of them at the same time for the same stream. Nice, right? Well, imagine that for audio rooms in Clubhouse, for example, and then imagine that for um, uh, things like free and paid groups, right? There's technology, there's a lot of opportunity that opens up for that kind of tech, and you mark my words, you'll see that start to roll out more. But also, Facebook is definitely trending up on development and also uh, helping people find their warm and fuzzies about using Facebook again. I think they're hyper aware of that. I think they're making strides in the right direction. Do I think that Facebook is evil? That's more of a personal thing, not a, and I don't want to get into that more than I do telling you about the platform and its capabilities, right? Uh, the other thing, there's so Facebook Shops, right? Marketplace. Everybody knows probably about Facebook Shops or probably has heard about it by now. They're actually making it to integrate that as well into Instagram. So if you have a Facebook Marketplace or a Facebook Shop on Marketplace, you're actually going to be able to use that inside your Instagram and directly link to products, which is more of an e-com thing. I get that, but again, crazy cool development like that to allow those two platforms, Facebook and Instagram, to not commingle, but to work in sync better, let's say, or much more in sync together, producing a much better result, which usually means lower ad costs, right? More efficiency, that kind of thing, and also more trust, right? If you're a brand and you have established in Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, and you get the point, like on and on, LinkedIn, then it's much harder for someone to come in and scam people off of your brand. Uh, in theory, mind you. Some people still are able to get away with that, mind you, but it's much more challenging these days to do well enough to for it to last, right? That kind of scam stuff going on. So those are the trends that I see. The established social media platforms are evolving and developing in order to retain and or increase their market share of the younger generations, right? And I say younger, I mean younger than I, right? Younger than myself. I'll be 38 come April, so I'm getting to be an old fart now. But that's that's the deal. That's the trends, right? And it's important to take note of that, whether you want to use any of those Facebook things or Facebook ever again or not. Again, whether you believe in climate change or not, it's affecting the ad policies of Google Ads, for example. And Facebook may not be far behind on that. I'm sure that that's the case. Again, saw a Snapchat ad the other day. I don't know, about a month ago, and it was mainly for brand awareness of this climate change pact uh, that 150 corporations had signed, you know, um, committing to, I don't know, zero emissions or some shit. I have no idea. I didn't even pay that much attention to it, but that's how much it's been out there and in our face. So again, for Google Ads to make an announcement on and an ad policy change on climate change and what you can and cannot say, it's just something to be aware of. Whether you agree with it or not, just be aware of it, okay? And use that to your advantage. Okay. That's all I had to talk about was the trend. So I'm not seeing any questions come through. If you folks have questions, ask away, and I'll answer. Let's make this last call though, because I don't want to keep anybody longer than we don't need a lot of dead air, right? We get enough of that from when I take a drink of something, right? Okay. Hmm. Let's see. Adrian says, I like what you're sharing. What is that? Old seed. I like what you're sharing. When I get the time, I actually plan on paying, I think, the $100 or $300 to get Facebook certified so clients can see some more proof. Yeah, anytime you can do that or want to do that, it's not a bad thing. Being a Google Ad partner, right, that kind of thing, it does have its advantages, but to me, far less than actually just getting in there and doing. Uh, because when you have enough ad spend and they make you a preferred partner, right, and you have access to a lot of the beta shit, it's like you don't even need to be a partner. It's almost like have you ever seen or heard someone who is super wealthy who didn't graduate college and builds $100 million hall on a university and gets an honorary degree from that university, excuse me, um, for marketing or for business or something like that. And it's like, and I'm smiling and laughing about it. I think it's great. It's still very much an honor. That's why it's an honorary degree. But it's just that it's an honorary degree. It's almost like saying, hey, you made so much fucking money, or you did so well in business or in art or whatever your field was. In other words, you're so high profile that we're just going to give you a degree because it almost defies the belief that they were able to do that without a degree from a school. Does that make sense? Or from a university? And that's I'm not saying that people do that just to rationalize, but part of it is rationalization, right? And that's one of those things about the honorary degree. If you spend enough money, for example, here's the analogy, coming full circle. If you spend enough money in Google Ads, you're going to get the equivalent of that honorary degree. It's kind of like, well, we really do want your opinion and feedback because you spend so much fucking money, or you can just go through the university route and get your little Google Ad partner degree and get your ad vouchers and shit like that. Okay, great, woo, right? Or You can spend 100 grand a month in ads, and they'll really fucking love you and give you that honorary degree, and you don't have to do shit on or learn or unlearn anything that they teach you, because some of the shit they teach as a partner is like, my God, it's definitely indoctrination, and I don't mean politically more than I do about the platform. It makes you think like a robot, right? It makes you think more robotic and not more creative, which is interesting. You think that their partner program would inspire more creativity. Nope, nope. Very unoriginal. And I'm not saying that to be a dig more than I am saying there's a difference. But it is nice to have that at the end of your name. So it's totally up to you. If you want to be called doctor now or get an honorary doctorate degree after you focus in on delivering for clients and pull a ton of money, totally up to you, right? I prefer the latter because it's kind of funny to me, actually quite hilarious, uh, to have things happen to you like that. And when they do happen, trust me, it's a totally different feeling than actually earning that degree, right? It's pretty funny, but at the same time, it's pretty true. Like, man, there's you have to know enough to probably have graduated. You just didn't do it, just didn't go through it, right? Or go through with it. Anyway, not knocking college or anything for those of you that are in college. Um, Great, right? Hope you got a plan to pay off the debt, because that's what I'm talking about. That's the difference. I'd rather build a business, make a ton of money, get an honorary degree, and be recognized for my hard work after the fact, prior to, prior to, or getting, instead of getting a designator at the end of my name and then, so getting the credit and then don't going and doing the work. That's kind of crazy, right? Anyway, just my thoughts on it, my view on it. That's more of a personal note, but still totally up to you guys how you want to do that. Um, Brand credibility a lot of times now comes down to, uh, from what I'm seeing, how many platforms you're on, how active on those platforms you are. So a lot of focus has been lately on one-to-many content strategy, right? So if you create a YouTube video, for example, how do I get that into an Instagram reel or reels, which would obviously feed into Facebook reels? How do I get that into a pre-recorded live stream like what Gary Vee does? How do I clip out the best parts? How do I um, turn that into quote cards? Because I said some really cool shit. Um, how do I you write like all these and then post that on Pinterest, for example? Like there's just all these different ways of taking one piece of content into multiple pieces of content, and one to many, right? And there's a lot of focus on that, increasing focus, I should say, on that over the last several years because of the fact that there are multiple platforms. And when you do that, you create this, not that you're following everybody effect, but that you are everywhere effect. Part of the brand credibility that comes with McDonald's, for example, is that shit, you hardly can't throw a rock from one location, before hitting another, right? You could do that, and that's an exaggeration, but man, there are McDonald's locations everywhere, right? Everywhere, and that definitely helps with brand recognition and trust, right? So anyway, just food for thought. Okay. I'm not seeing anything else. Okay, so we did last call. Hey, listen, folks. Happy to always be here for you. Update you on the stuff that's going on. Um, Hopefully, you see the trends inside the Google Ads announcements, and act accordingly, and take note of that. I know that, well, to my knowledge, nobody talks about this kind of shit. Actually, it's rare that people talk about this outside of the pay-per-call industry, let alone how this directly affects the pay-per-call industry. So, and I'm not saying that to brag or anything more than I am to make note of it. Like that's how important it is for us. Everybody else goes into freak out mode. We know exactly what's going on and how to deal with it from day one, right? And that's because we keep tabs on shit like this and among other things. But um, that's why you guys tune in, right? Hopefully, hopefully you don't tune in to take a look at my ugly mug. Hopefully you tune in to get the info you need and get the F out, get back to work, get some clients, get the calls coming into the clients, and scale to the moon, right? And then go get your honorary degree. So anyway, all right, guys, and gals, I will catch you on our next call, October the 28th at 12 p.m. And it's going to be 2 weeks from today. It'll be Thursday. And if you have questions between now and then, ask away in the group. You guys know I'll answer that. I think there's a couple pending. I got to go check on that, but I'll get to it. And if you have questions, let me know. I'll answer whatever you got, right? If you've got campaign questions, optimization, whatever. Typically helps to be able to screen share, obviously, because I can see what you're doing, what's going on. It gives me a much better, it's kind of like a doctor diagnosis. You know, I could diagnose you over the phone, or you could come into the office and I can actually really pinpoint the problem, right? And the solutions for that, for said problem. So works really well. That's why we do these twice a month. Anyway, work hard. Peak season for client getting, I'll tell you that right now. October, November, December should be best, or should be good, better, best for client getting. December is the best month by far, but October is not bad at all. It's a great month for client acquisition. November is pretty good too, right? So get after it, and I'll catch you guys on the next call, October 28th at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right, folks, bye for now.
Cool. You folk. Back on my shit with a new advantage. I leave it up to you to settle the damage. Diamond, yeah, I know it's foreign to him. I came from the guts of rural Alabama. Steph Curry wrist, watch what they handle. Simple motors, gotta lead by example. Not too many make it out when they doubt. Never been about bailing off of my route. Rain gang, got the city HD. Hate to see my brother die every week. Numb to your vision. My life got me too fucked up. Disrespect to make a nigga go dumb. Pillow talking while you nursing that bitch and turn you to a scrub. I let prices from the plug, Bay Shore, Ocean View, or win Adidas with the boots. Niggas out here slinging arbitrage, so the money really no excuse. Welcome to the realm.